Welcome back to the Soft Light Theory. You're here again, beneath the quiet sky of your own mind. The air is still. The world outside may be restless, but here, in this space, you are safe. This is your second journey, a continuation, a deepening. Last time, we explored the gentle art of stopping negative thinking. We walked alongside Dr. David D. Burns, who taught us that thoughts are not facts. They are stories we tell ourselves. You learned to question the voice that says, "I'm not good enough," or "I always fail." You saw how that voice can be softened, reshaped, even silenced. And now, you return, not to fight your thoughts, but to understand their secret link to emotion. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from tonight? Drop your time and place in the comments so we can see how far this circle of calm reaches. This is the second episode, the secret link between thoughts and emotions. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The first thought of morning. The summary of this chapter: your mind wakes before your body does. In the hush of dawn, a single thought stirs emotion. You begin to notice how feelings follow ideas, like shadows. This chapter gently opens the door to your inner dialogue. Let's begin where your thoughts begin. You lie still. Your body is heavy with sleep, but your mind stirs. A single thought floats in, light as mist. Maybe it's a memory, maybe it's a worry, maybe it's nothing at all, just a whisper of something unnamed. And yet, it changes you. Your breath shifts. Your chest tightens. Emotion follows thought, like a shadow follows light. Your emotions are not random. They are not wild storms that arrive without warning. They are born from your thoughts, quietly, invisibly, like seeds beneath the soil. You feel anxious because you think something bad will happen. You feel sad because you believe you've lost something. You feel angry because you think you've been wronged. The emotion is real, but the thought, the root, can be questioned. Imagine your mind as a garden. Each thought is a seed. Some seeds grow into flowers. Others grow into thorns. You don't always choose what gets planted, but you can choose what you water. Your thoughts create your feelings, not the other way around. This means you are not helpless. You are not trapped in emotion. You are the gardener. You can learn to see the seed before it blooms. Let's walk through an example. You wake up and think, "I'm behind on everything." That thought feels true. It carries weight. And suddenly, you feel anxious. Your heart races. Your breath shortens. You feel overwhelmed before the day even begins. But pause. What if that thought isn't entirely accurate? What if it's distorted, like a mirror bent at the edges? These are patterns of thinking that twist reality. They include all or nothing thinking. If I'm not perfect, I'm a failure. Overgeneralization. I messed up once, so I'll always mess up. Mental filtering. I only see the bad, never the good. Labeling. I'm lazy. I'm stupid. Fortune telling. I know this will go wrong. Emotional reasoning. I feel hopeless, so things must be hopeless. These distortions are sneaky. They wear the costume of truth, but they are not truth. They are habits, learned ways of thinking, and habits can be changed. Let's return to your morning thought. I'm behind on everything. Is it all or nothing thinking? Is it mental filtering? Can you find evidence that you're not behind on everything? Can you name one thing you've done well recently? One moment of progress? One breath of effort? This is not toxic positivity. This is not denial. This is clarity. You are learning to see your thoughts clearly, without distortion. And when you do, your emotions begin to shift. You feel lighter, not because the world changed, but because your lens did. It's a simple sheet where you write down 1. The situation that triggered your emotion. 2. The emotion you felt. 3. The automatic thought that came with it. 4. The distortions in that thought. 5. A new, balanced thought. 6. The new emotion that follows. It's like emotional journaling, but with science. You begin to see patterns. You begin to notice how your mind creates your mood. And slowly, gently, you begin to reclaim your power. Let's try it together. Imagine you're preparing for something important. A presentation, a conversation, a decision. You think, I'm going to mess this up. You feel nervous. Your stomach tightens. Your hands tremble. Pause. Write it down. Name the emotion. Anxiety. Name the thought. I'm going to mess this up. Now look for distortions. Is it fortune-telling? Is it labeling? Is it emotional reasoning? Now challenge the thought. Ask, what's the evidence I'll mess this up? What's the evidence I might do well? What would I say to a friend who felt this way? Now write a new thought. I've prepared. I care. I may not be perfect, but I'll do my best. Feel the shift. Your breath deepens. Your chest softens. Emotion follows thought. This is the secret link. This is the quiet science of feeling good. Not by forcing happiness, but by understanding the architecture of your mind. You begin to notice this link everywhere. In relationships, in work, in solitude. You see how your thoughts shape your experience, and you begin to choose them more wisely. This doesn't mean you'll never feel sad or anxious again. It means you'll understand why. And that understanding is healing. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are learning. You are growing. You are becoming the gardener of your own mind. As the chapter closes, you lie still again. The morning light is soft. Your thoughts are quieter now. You begin to notice the space between them. A gentle pause, a breath, a choice. And in that space, something new begins to stir. Not just thought, not just emotion, but identity. Who are you beneath your thoughts? Who are you when the mind is quiet? In the hush between thoughts, you begin to sense something deeper, a quiet self that watches, listens, and waits. In the next chapter, we'll explore this silent observer, the part of you that remains untouched by emotion, yet holds the key to transformation. Chapter 2. The Mirror of Emotion. The summary of this chapter: your feelings are reflections, not rulers. They echo the stories your thoughts quietly tell. Like water rippling from a pebble, emotion responds to belief. Tonight, you learn to trace the ripple back to its source. What if your sadness is just a misunderstood whisper? You lie still. The night wraps around you like a soft shawl. Outside, the world continues. Cars hum, clocks tick, stars blink. But inside, something quieter stirs. A feeling, not loud, not sharp, just a gentle ache, like a shadow resting on your chest. You don't know where it came from. It arrived without warning. And yet, it feels familiar, like a visitor you've met before, but never truly understood. Tonight, you begin to understand. Not by pushing the feeling away, not by drowning it in distraction, but by listening, by tracing it back to its source. Here we see emotions are mirrors. They reflect the thoughts we carry, even the ones we don't notice. Sadness, anxiety, guilt, shame. They are not random storms. They are ripples, and every ripple begins with a pebble, a thought dropped quietly into the mind. Imagine a still lake. You toss a stone. The water moves, not because the lake is broken, but because something touched it. Your mind is that lake. Your thoughts are the stones, and your emotions, they are the ripples. Let's take sadness. You feel low, heavy, disconnected. You think, I'm not enough. I've failed. I'm alone. These thoughts may not shout, but they whisper, and the whisper shapes the feeling. It's the belief that because you feel something, it must be true. I feel hopeless, so things must be hopeless. I feel guilty, so I must have done something wrong. But feelings are not facts. They are reflections, and reflections can be distorted. Think of a mirror in a funhouse. It stretches your shape, shrinks your height, bends your edges. You know it's not real, but it still affects how you see yourself. Your emotional mirror works the same way. If your thoughts are distorted, your feelings will be too. And tonight, you learn to clean the mirror. Let's walk through an example. You feel anxious before a meeting. Your heart races. Your stomach tightens. You think, I'm going to embarrass myself. I won't know what to say. I'll be judged. Pause. These thoughts are the pebbles. The anxiety is the ripple. Now examine the pebble. Is it true? Is it distorted? Are you fortune-telling, predicting failure before it happens? Are you mind-reading, assuming others will think poorly of you? Are you labeling, calling yourself awkward or incompetent? Dr. Burns teaches us to challenge these distortions, not with force, but with curiosity. Ask yourself, what's the evidence for this thought? What's the evidence against it? What would I say to a friend who felt this way? What's a more balanced way to think? Now rewrite the thought. I might feel nervous, but I've prepared. I care about doing well, and that's enough. Even if I stumble, I'm still learning. Feel the shift. The ripple softens. The water calms. The emotion changes. This is the mirror of emotion. It doesn't lie, but it reflects what you give it, and you can choose what to give. Let's explore another feeling. Guilt. You remember something you said, something you didn't do. You feel heavy, ashamed. You think, I'm a bad person. I hurt someone. I should have known better. Pause. These thoughts are powerful, but are they accurate? Are you magnifying the mistake? Are you labeling yourself based on one moment? Are you ignoring your intention, your growth, your regret? Now challenge the thought. Ask, did I mean harm? Have I tried to make it right? Is this guilt helping me grow or keeping me stuck? Rewrite the thought. I made a mistake, but I'm learning. I care enough to feel regret, and that means I'm growing. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. Feel the shift. The mirror clears. The reflection softens. The guilt becomes compassion. This is not denial. This is emotional honesty. You are not erasing the feeling. You are understanding it. Dr. Burns reminds us, you are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are the observer, the thinker, the feeler. And that means you have power. You begin to notice this mirror in everyday life. A friend doesn't reply. You feel rejected. You forget something. You feel stupid. You rest. You feel lazy. But pause. Are these feelings reflections of distorted thoughts? Can you trace the ripple back to the pebble? You begin to ask, what thought created this feeling? Is that thought true? Is it kind? Is it helpful? And slowly, gently, you begin to rewrite your inner story. You are not rejected. Your friend may be busy. You are not stupid. You forgot, like everyone does. You are not lazy. You are resting, and rest is sacred. The mirror clears. The reflection changes. The emotion softens. This is the science of feeling good, not by chasing happiness, but by understanding sadness, not by avoiding emotion, but by listening to it. You begin to see your feelings as messengers. They are not enemies. They are guides. They point to the thoughts that need attention. And when you listen, they quiet. You are learning to live with emotional clarity, to feel deeply but not drown, to think critically but not harshly, to reflect but not distort. As the chapter closes, you lie still again. Your breath is slow. Your mind is soft. You begin to notice the mirror within you, not the one that judges, but the one that reflects. And you begin to wonder, if emotion is a mirror, then who is the one looking into it? In the next chapter, we'll explore the quiet observer, the part of you that watches your thoughts and feelings without judgment, the silent self beneath the noise. Chapter 3. Cognitive Alchemy. The summary of this chapter: your thoughts are not facts, but ingredients. With gentle awareness, you can change their flavor. This chapter explores cognitive distortions as poetic illusions. You begin to see how your mind can reshape its own truth. What happens when you stir kindness into your thinking? You lie still. The night is soft. Your breath is slow. And somewhere in your mind, a thought begins to form. It's not loud. It's not new, but it carries weight. I'm not doing enough. I always mess things up. No one really sees me. These thoughts feel familiar. They've visited you before. They arrive quietly, like fog. And soon, they shape your mood. You feel heavy. You feel small. You feel alone. But tonight, you begin to see these thoughts differently. Not as facts, not as truths, but as ingredients. And ingredients can be changed. Imagine your mind as a kitchen. Thoughts are spices. Some are bitter, some are sweet, some are neutral until stirred. You don't always choose what's placed on the counter, but you choose what you cook with. And tonight, you learn to taste your thoughts before you swallow them. This is the heart of cognitive alchemy, the ability to transform distorted thoughts into balanced ones, to take the bitter and stir in kindness, to take the harsh and soften it with truth. Let's begin with a simple distortion: all or nothing thinking. You think, if I'm not perfect, I'm a failure. This thought is rigid. It leaves no room for growth, no space for nuance. Now pause. Challenge it. Ask, is perfection the only measure of success? Have I ever done something imperfectly and still made progress? Can I be proud of effort, even if the outcome isn't flawless? Now rewrite the thought. I'm learning. I'm growing. I don't need to be perfect to be valuable. Feel the shift. The bitterness fades. The flavor changes. This is alchemy. Let's explore another distortion: overgeneralization. You think, I failed once, so I'll always fail. This thought paints your future with the brush of one moment. It ignores your resilience. It forgets your growth. Pause. Ask, is one failure proof of forever? Have I succeeded before? Can I learn from this and try again? Now rewrite the thought. One setback doesn't define me. I've succeeded before, and I will again. The thought softens, the emotion shifts, the ripple calms. This is alchemy. Now consider mental filtering. You focus only on the negative. You ignore the good. You think, today was awful, even though one moment was beautiful. Pause. Ask, am I seeing the whole picture? What went well today? What did I handle with grace? Now, rewrite the thought. Today had challenges, but also moments of strength and light. The mirror clears, the reflection changes. This is alchemy. Let's look at labeling. You think, I'm stupid. I'm lazy. I'm broken. These thoughts are heavy. They reduce you to a single word. They erase your complexity. Pause. Ask, is this label fair? Am I judging myself by one moment? Would I speak this way to someone I love? Now, rewrite the thought. I'm human. I make mistakes, but I'm trying, and that matters. The weight lifts. The breath deepens. This is alchemy. Now, explore fortune-telling. You think, this will go wrong. I'll embarrass myself. They won't like me. These thoughts predict the future with fear. They steal your peace before anything happens. Pause. Ask, can I know the future? Have things gone well before? Can I prepare and trust myself? Now rewrite the thought. I don't know what will happen, but I can handle it with care. The anxiety softens. The moment opens. This is alchemy. Each distortion is a poetic illusion. It feels real. It sounds true. But it's a trick of the mind, and you are learning to see through it. You begin to notice these illusions in daily life. You forget something. You label yourself careless. You feel tired. You call yourself lazy. You rest, and guilt whispers, you should be doing more. But pause. Taste the thought. Is it bitter? Is it kind? Is it true? You begin to stir in new ingredients. Compassion, curiosity, balance. You think, I forgot, but I've remembered many things before. I'm tired because I've been working hard. I'm resting because my body needs care. The thoughts change. The emotions shift. The mood lifts. This is cognitive alchemy. You are not erasing your feelings. You are understanding them. You are not denying your thoughts. You are refining them. You begin to see your mind as a canvas. Thoughts are brushstrokes. Some are dark. Some are light. But you hold the brush. You begin to paint with intention. You choose colors that reflect truth. You blend shadows with light. You create a picture that honors your complexity. This is not perfection. This is presence. This is not control. This is clarity. You are learning to live with emotional honesty, to feel deeply but not drown, to think critically but not cruelly, to reflect but not distort. As the chapter closes, you lie still again. Your breath is soft. Your thoughts are quieter. You begin to notice the space between them, a gentle pause, a breath, a choice. And in that space, something new begins to stir. Not just thought, not just emotion, but identity. If your thoughts can be reshaped, then who is the one doing the shaping? In the next chapter, we'll meet the quiet witness, the part of you that watches your mind with calm awareness, the silent self beneath the noise. Chapter 4. The Language of Self-Talk. You speak to yourself more than to anyone else. Each word you whisper inward becomes a feeling. Tonight, we slow down and listen to your inner voice. You learn to soften its tone, to cradle it with compassion. What if your mind is waiting for a gentler narrator? You lie still. The night is quiet. Your breath moves slowly, like waves brushing the shore. And somewhere beneath the silence, a voice begins to speak. Not out loud, not with sound, but inside, in the language only you hear. It's your voice, the one that narrates your day, the one that comments on your choices, the one that whispers when no one else is listening. This is your self-talk, and tonight, you begin to hear it clearly. You speak to yourself more than to anyone else. Thousands of thoughts pass through your mind each day. Some are fleeting, some are loud, some are soft and constant, like background music, and each one carries a tone, a flavor, a feeling. You wake up and think, I'm already behind. You make a mistake and think, I'm so stupid. You rest and think, I should be doing more. These thoughts don't just pass. They shape you. They become the lens through which you see yourself. They become the soil in which your emotions grow. Tonight, we slow down. We listen. We begin to notice the language you use with yourself. And we ask, is it kind? Is it fair? Is it helping you heal? Imagine your mind as a room. Your self-talk is the wallpaper. If it's harsh, the room feels cold. If it's gentle, the room feels safe. You live in this room. You carry it with you. And you have the power to redecorate. Let's begin with a simple moment. You forget something. You think, I'm so careless. The tone is sharp. The feeling is shame. Pause. Would you say this to someone you love? Would you call a friend careless for forgetting? Or would you say, it happens. You're doing your best. Now, say it to yourself. It happens. I'm doing my best. Feel the shift. The shame softens. The room warms. This is the power of self-talk. Let's explore another moment. You feel tired. You think, I'm lazy. The tone is judgmental. The feeling is guilt. Pause. Is rest laziness? Is your body asking for care? Would you tell a friend, you're lazy, or you deserve rest? Now say it to yourself. I'm tired. I deserve rest. Feel the shift. The guilt fades. The breath deepens. This is the power of self-talk. You begin to notice patterns. Certain phrases repeat. I'm not enough. I always mess up. No one really cares. These phrases are not facts. They are habits, learned scripts, and habits can be changed. You begin to rewrite the script, not with denial, not with forced positivity, but with truth, with balance, with compassion. You think, I'm not enough. Pause. Ask, enough for what? Who decided that? What do I value in myself? Now, rewrite the thought. I'm growing. I'm learning. I have worth, even when I struggle. Feel the shift. The tone softens. The feeling changes. This is the power of self-talk. Let's look at the science. Your brain responds to language. When you speak kindly to yourself, your nervous system calms. Your stress hormones decrease. Your emotional resilience increases. Self-talk is not just emotional. It's physiological. It shapes your body, your breath, your sleep, your healing. You begin to see your inner voice as a guide, not a critic, not a judge, but a companion. You begin to speak to yourself the way you would to a child, with patience, with warmth, with understanding. You say, it's okay. You're trying. You're allowed to feel this. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to be imperfect. And your body responds. Your breath deepens. Your muscles soften. Your heart slows. This is the power of self-talk. You begin to notice your tone, not just the words, but the way you say them. Is it rushed? Is it harsh? Is it gentle? You begin to speak slowly, like a lullaby, like a whisper, like a soft breeze through trees. You say, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm safe. And your mind begins to trust you. This is the power of self-talk. You begin to create rituals, moments of intentional inner dialogue. In the morning, you say, today is a new chance. Before sleep, you say, I did enough. During stress, you say, I can handle this. These rituals become anchors. They ground you. They guide you. They remind you of your strength. You begin to write affirmations, not empty phrases, but truths you want to live by. I am worthy of love. I am allowed to grow slowly. I am not my mistakes. I am learning to be kind to myself. You repeat them. You breathe with them. You let them settle into your nervous system. This is the power of self-talk. You begin to notice how your inner voice affects your outer life. When you speak kindly to yourself, you speak kindly to others. When you forgive yourself, you forgive others. When you trust yourself, you trust the world. Your relationships shift. Your choices shift. Your mood shifts. Not because the world changed, but because your narrator did. You begin to see your mind as a story, and you are the storyteller. You choose the tone. You choose the rhythm. You choose the voice. And tonight, you choose gentleness. You lie still again. The night is quiet. Your breath is soft. And your inner voice begins to speak. It says, "You're doing well. It's okay to feel tired. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to heal." And you believe it. This is the power of self-talk. As the chapter closes, you begin to wonder, if your voice can soothe your emotions, can it also reshape the loop between thought and feeling? What if your thoughts and emotions are dancing partners, each shaping the other in a quiet loop? In the next chapter, we'll explore this rhythm, the cycle of thought feeding feeling and feeling feeding thought. Chapter 5. The Thought Feeling Loop. The summary of this chapter: thoughts birth emotions. Emotions feed thoughts. This loop can spiral upward or downward. You explore how awareness interrupts the cycle. Like stepping off a carousel, you find stillness. Can you feel the moment your thought shifts? You lie in the quiet. The air is still. Your breath moves gently, like a tide that never rushes. And somewhere inside, a thought begins to form. It's small, barely a whisper, but it carries weight. "I forgot to reply. I didn't do enough. I should have tried harder." The thought arrives, and with it, a feeling, a tightening in the chest, a flicker of guilt, a shadow of self-doubt. This is the loop. Thoughts birth emotions. Emotions feed thoughts. And the cycle begins. You think something. You feel something. You think again, based on that feeling. And the loop continues. Sometimes it spirals upward. A kind thought brings peace. Peace brings clarity. Clarity brings more kindness. Sometimes it spirals downward. A harsh thought brings shame. Shame brings fear. Fear brings more harshness. Tonight, you begin to notice the loop, not to judge it, not to fix it, but to see it, to understand its rhythm, to find the stillness between the spin. Imagine a carousel. Each horse is a thought. Each turn is a feeling. Round and round you go, until you step off, and the world slows. This is awareness. The moment you notice the loop, the moment you pause, the moment you choose. Let's look closer. You wake up and think, "I'm already behind." The thought is fast. It triggers stress. Stress brings more thoughts. "I'll never catch up. I'm failing. I'm not enough." The loop tightens. Your breath shortens. Your body tenses. Your mood sinks. Now pause. Step off the carousel. Ask, what was the first thought? "I'm already behind." Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? You begin to question the thought, not with force, but with curiosity. You ask, what am I comparing myself to? Who decided this pace? Can I choose a gentler rhythm? The loop slows. The feeling softens. The next thought shifts. I'm doing what I can. I'm allowed to move slowly. I'm still growing. And the loop spirals upward. This is the power of awareness. Let's explore another moment. You make a mistake. You think, "I always mess up." The thought stings. It brings shame. Shame feeds more thoughts. "I'm not good enough. I shouldn't try again." The loop tightens. Your confidence fades. Your energy drops. Now pause. Step off the carousel. Ask, is this thought absolute? Always? Every time? You begin to soften the thought, "I made a mistake." That's part of learning. "I can try again." The feeling shifts. The next thought becomes, "I'm human. I'm allowed to grow." I'm still learning. And the loop spirals upward. This is the power of awareness. You begin to see how thoughts and feelings dance. One leads, the other follows. Then they switch. Thoughts shape feelings. Feelings shape thoughts. And the loop continues. But you are not the loop. You are the observer, the one who watches, the one who chooses. Let's look at the science. Your brain is wired for patterns. Neural pathways form loops. Thoughts trigger chemical signals. Feelings reinforce those signals. And the loop becomes stronger. But the brain is also plastic. It can change. It can rewire. It can break the loop. Awareness is the first step. Noticing the thought, naming the feeling, pausing the cycle. You begin to practice this. You feel anxious. You ask, what thought came first? I might fail. You ask, is that fear or fact? You ask, what's a gentler thought? I'm trying. I'm learning. I'm allowed to be imperfect. The feeling shifts. The loop changes. You begin to see your mind as a garden. Thoughts are seeds. Feelings are the soil. Some seeds grow weeds. Some grow flowers. You choose what to plant. You choose what to water. You choose what to let go. This is the power of awareness. You begin to notice your emotional weather. Some days are cloudy. Some are bright. Some are stormy. And each weather pattern begins with a thought, a forecast, a prediction, a memory. You ask, what thought is shaping this mood? You ask, can I change the forecast? You ask, can I bring light into the storm? You begin to speak gently to yourself. You say, this feeling is valid. You say, this thought is not permanent. You say, I can choose a new path. And the loop spirals upward. You begin to create space between thought and feeling, between reaction and response, between carousel and stillness. This space is sacred. It's where healing begins. It's where choice lives. It's where peace grows. You begin to notice your loops, not with shame, but with curiosity. You say, I see you. I understand you. I choose something new. You begin to rewrite your loops, not with force, but with kindness. You say, I'm not behind. I'm not broken. I'm not alone. You say, I'm growing. I'm healing. I'm learning to be gentle. And the loop spirals upward. You lie still again. The night is quiet. Your breath is soft. And your thoughts begin to slow. You think, I am safe. You feel calm. You think, I am enough. You feel peace. The loop becomes a lullaby, a rhythm of kindness, a dance of healing. And you begin to wonder, if your thoughts and feelings shape your mood, can your body join the conversation too? What if your breath, your posture, your heartbeat all speak the language of emotion? In the next chapter, we'll explore the body's quiet role in mood. Chapter 6. The belief beneath the feeling. The summary of this chapter: every emotion hides a belief beneath its surface. You gently uncover the quiet convictions shaping your mood. This chapter guides you through the roots of your reactions. You begin to question, not with judgment, but with curiosity. What belief is your anxiety trying to protect? You lie in the hush of night. The air is still. Your breath moves slowly, like a tide that doesn't rush. And somewhere inside, a feeling begins to rise. It's subtle, a flicker, a quiet tension in the chest. You name it: anxiety, or sadness, or guilt, or something you can't quite name. It arrives without asking. It settles in your body, and you wonder, where did it come from? Tonight, you begin to look beneath the feeling, not to push it away, not to fix it, but to understand it. Every emotion is a messenger. It carries something beneath its surface, a belief, a quiet conviction, a story your mind has been telling. You feel anxious before a meeting. You pause. You ask, what am I believing? Maybe it's, I must perform perfectly. Or, if I fail, I'll be judged. Or, I'm not good enough. The feeling is the signal. The belief is the root. You begin to notice this pattern. Feelings rise. Beliefs hide beneath. And when you uncover the belief, the feeling begins to soften. Let's explore this gently. You feel guilt after resting. You pause. You ask, what am I believing? Maybe it's, rest is laziness. Or, I must earn my worth. Or, I'm only valuable when I'm productive. You don't argue with the belief. You don't shame it. You simply notice it. You say, I see you. I understand you. I wonder where you came from. This is the beginning of healing. Beliefs are not facts. They are stories, learned from childhood, shaped by culture, reinforced by repetition. Some beliefs protect you, some limit you, some are outdated, and all can be questioned. You begin to ask gentle questions. Is this belief true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? You feel sadness after rejection. You pause. You ask, what am I believing? Maybe it's, I'm not lovable. Or, I'll always be alone. Or, I'm not enough. You breathe. You soften. You ask, would I say this to a friend? Would I say this to a child? Can I say something kinder to myself? You begin to rewrite the belief, not with denial, but with compassion. I am lovable. I am allowed to be imperfect. I am worthy of connection. And the feeling begins to shift. This is the power of belief. Let's look at the science. Your brain creates shortcuts. Beliefs are cognitive filters. They shape how you interpret the world. They influence your emotions. They guide your reactions. When you believe you're unsafe, you feel fear. When you believe you're unworthy, you feel shame. When you believe you're failing, you feel anxiety. But beliefs can change. Neuroplasticity allows new pathways, new thoughts, new feelings, new stories. You begin to practice this. You feel overwhelmed. You pause. You ask, what am I believing? Maybe it's, I must do everything. Or, I can't ask for help. Or, if I slow down, I'll fall behind. You breathe. You soften. You ask, is this belief serving me? Can I choose a new one? You say, I can ask for help. I am allowed to rest. I am still growing. And the feeling begins to shift. You begin to see your beliefs as roots. Some are tangled. Some are deep. Some are ready to be replanted. You don't rush. You don't force. You simply notice. You say, this belief has been with me. I honor it. I choose something new. You begin to create belief rituals, moments of reflection, moments of rewriting. In the morning, you say, I am enough, even before I begin. Before sleep, you say, I am allowed to rest. During stress, you say, I am safe. I am supported. These rituals become anchors. They guide your emotions. They reshape your reactions. You begin to notice how beliefs shape your relationships. When you believe you're unworthy, you shrink, you hide, you overextend. When you believe you're lovable, you speak, you rest, you connect. Beliefs shape behavior. Behavior shapes emotion. Emotion reinforces belief, and the loop continues. But you are not the loop. You are the observer, the gardener, the storyteller. You begin to rewrite your beliefs, not all at once, but gently, one thought at a time. You say, I am allowed to be seen. I am allowed to be imperfect. I am allowed to be loved. And the feelings begin to shift. You lie still again. The night is quiet. Your breath is soft, and a feeling begins to rise. You pause. You ask, what belief lives beneath this? You listen. You understand. You choose. And you begin to wonder. If beliefs shape emotion, Can your body help you rewrite the story too? What if your posture, your breath, your movement all carry emotional memory? In the next chapter, we'll explore how the body speaks its own language of healing. Chapter 7. The Gentle Power of Reframing. The summary of this chapter. Reframing is not denial, it's redesign. You learn to tilt your perspective like a painting on a wall. This chapter teaches the art of seeing with new eyes. You begin to feel how a shift in thought softens emotion. What if your pain is asking to be seen differently? You lie in the quiet. The night wraps around you like a soft shawl. Your breath moves slowly, like a tide that doesn't rush. And somewhere inside, a thought begins to stir. It's familiar. It carries weight. It brings a feeling with it. You think, I failed. The feeling is shame. You think, I'm not enough. The feeling is sadness. You think, this always happens. The feeling is helplessness. The thought and the feeling arrive together. They sit beside you. They whisper stories, and you begin to believe them. But tonight, you learn something gentle. You learn the art of reframing. Reframing is not denial. It's not pretending. It's not painting over pain with bright colors. Reframing is redesign. It's tilting the picture. It's changing the angle. It's seeing the same moment with new eyes. Imagine a painting on a wall. You've stared at it for years. It looks heavy, dark, unforgiving. But then you tilt it, just slightly, and light catches a new corner. A detail you never noticed. A softness you never saw. This is reframing. You begin with a thought. I failed. You pause. You ask, what else is true? Maybe, I tried. I learned. I showed up. You don't erase the original thought. You expand it. You soften it. You add light to the shadow, and the feeling begins to shift. This is the gentle power of reframing. Let's explore another moment. You feel anxious before a conversation. You think, I'll say the wrong thing. You pause. You ask, what else is true? Maybe, I care. I want to connect. I'm allowed to be imperfect. You tilt the frame. You see the intention beneath the fear. You see the courage beneath the doubt. And the feeling begins to shift. Reframing is not about being positive. It's about being whole. It's about seeing the full picture. Not just the pain, not just the fear, but the truth that lives beside it. You begin to practice this. You feel lonely. You think, no one understands me. You pause. You ask, what else is true? Maybe, I haven't shared my story. I'm still learning to connect. There are people I haven't met yet. You tilt the frame. You see possibility. You see growth. You see hope. And the feeling begins to shift. Let's look at the science. Your brain is wired for patterns. It creates meaning from experience. It builds stories from emotion. And those stories become beliefs. But your brain is also flexible. Neuroplasticity allows change, new thoughts, new angles, new stories. Reframing activates this flexibility. It invites your brain to explore, to question, to redesign. You begin to notice your automatic thoughts. I'm not good enough. This always goes wrong. I'll never change. You pause. You ask, what else is true? You begin to rewrite. I'm learning. Some things go right. I've changed before. And the feeling begins to shift. You begin to see your mind as a gallery. Each thought is a painting. Some are heavy. Some are bright. Some need to be tilted. You walk through the gallery. You pause at each frame. You ask, what else is here? What haven't I seen? What light can I add? This is the gentle power of reframing. You begin to notice how reframing affects your mood. A harsh thought brings tension. A softened thought brings calm. A curious thought brings peace. You begin to speak gently to yourself. You say, "This is hard, and I'm trying." You say, "I feel scared, and I'm still showing up." You say, "I made a mistake, and I'm learning." You begin to feel the shift, not just in thought, but in breath, in body, in emotion. You begin to create reframing rituals. In the morning, you say, "I don't know what today holds, but I'll meet it with care." Before sleep, you say, "I didn't do everything, but I did enough." During stress, you say, "This is uncomfortable, but it's not permanent." These rituals become anchors. They guide your perspective. They soften your mood. They help you see with new eyes. You begin to notice how reframing shapes your relationships. You think, "They don't care." You pause. You ask, "What else is true?" Maybe they're distracted. They're struggling. They care in ways I don't always see. You tilt the frame. You see compassion. You see nuance. You see connection. And the feeling begins to shift. You begin to reframe your past, not to erase it, but to understand it. You think, "I was weak." You pause. You ask, "What else is true?" Maybe, "I survived. I adapted. I grew." You tilt the frame. You see strength. You see resilience. You see healing. And the feeling begins to shift. You begin to reframe your future, not to control it, but to welcome it. You think, "I'll fail again." You pause. You ask, "What else is true?" Maybe, "I'll try again. I'll learn again. I'll grow again." You tilt the frame. You see possibility. You see courage. You see hope. And the feeling begins to shift. You lie still again. The night is quiet. Your breath is soft, and a thought begins to rise. You pause. You ask, "What else is true?" You tilt the frame. You see light. You feel warmth. You begin to believe, and you begin to wonder. If reframing softens thought, can your body help carry the new story forward? What if your breath, your posture, your movement, all help reinforce the new perspective? In the next chapter, we'll explore how the body anchors emotional change. Chapter 8: Emotional Weather and Mental Climate. The summary of this chapter: your emotions are weather, passing, changing, but your thoughts create the climate they live in. Tonight, you explore how long-term thinking shapes your emotional landscape. You learn to plant seeds of calm in the soil of your mind. What kind of climate does your self-talk create? You lie still beneath the hush of night. The air is soft. Your breath moves slowly, like wind through tall grass. And somewhere inside, a feeling begins to stir. It's light, or heavy, or somewhere in between. You name it: sadness, or joy, or restlessness, or something you can't quite name. It arrives like weather, a passing cloud, a sudden breeze, a quiet drizzle. Emotions move like weather. They shift, they change, they come and go. But beneath the weather, there is something deeper, something steadier, something that shapes the forecast: your thoughts, your beliefs, your mental climate. Tonight, you explore the difference between emotional weather and mental climate, between what passes and what stays, between the moment and the pattern. You begin with a feeling: anxiety. It arrives like a storm, fast, loud, unsettling. You pause. You ask, "What thought is feeding this?" Maybe, "I'm not ready," or "I'll mess this up," or "I'm not enough." The thought is not new. It's part of your climate, a belief that repeats, a pattern that lingers. You begin to see the connection. The weather is the emotion. The climate is the thought, and the climate shapes the weather. Let's explore another moment. You feel joy. It arrives like sunlight, warm, gentle, uplifting. You pause. You ask, "What thought is feeding this?" Maybe, I'm safe, or I'm loved, or I'm allowed to rest. The thought is kind. It's part of your climate, a belief that supports you, a pattern that heals. You begin to notice your emotional patterns. Some feelings visit often, some stay longer, some rarely appear. And beneath them, you find thought patterns. Some are harsh, some are soft, some are ready to change. Let's look at the science. Your brain responds to thought. Thought shapes emotion. Repeated thought shapes mood. And mood becomes climate. If you often think, I'm failing, your climate becomes heavy. If you often think, I'm growing, your climate becomes light. This is not about ignoring the weather. It's about tending to the soil, the roots, the patterns beneath the surface. You begin to ask gentle questions. What thoughts do I repeat? What beliefs shape my mood? What climate am I living in? You begin to notice your self-talk, the quiet voice inside, the narrator of your day. You ask, is it kind? Is it fair? Is it helping me heal? You begin to plant new seeds, not with force, but with care. You say, I am allowed to grow slowly. I am worthy of rest. I am learning to be gentle. These thoughts become seeds. They settle into your soil. They shape your climate. They soften your weather. You begin to create rituals, moments of climate care. In the morning, you say, I welcome today with curiosity. Before sleep, you say, I did enough. During stress, you say, I am safe. I am supported. These rituals become anchors. They guide your thoughts. They shape your mood. They tend your climate. You begin to notice how climate affects your body. A harsh climate brings tension. A kind climate brings ease. A fearful climate brings tightness. A trusting climate brings breath. You begin to feel the shift, not just in thought, but in emotion, in body, in sleep. You begin to reframe your climate, not all at once, but gently, one thought at a time. You say, I am not behind. I am not broken. I am not alone. You say, I am growing. I am healing. I am learning to be kind. And the weather begins to change. You begin to notice how climate shapes relationships. A harsh climate creates distance. A kind climate invites connection. A fearful climate builds walls. A trusting climate opens doors. You begin to speak gently to others. You say, I see you. I understand. I'm here. And your climate becomes shared. A space of warmth. A space of healing. A space of growth. You begin to reframe your past, not to erase it, but to understand it. You think, I was weak. You pause. You ask, what else is true? Maybe, I survived. I adapted. I grew. You tilt the frame. You soften the thought. You change the climate. You begin to reframe your future, not to control it, but to welcome it. You think, I'll fail again. You pause. You ask, what else is true? Maybe, I'll try again. I'll learn again. I'll grow again. You tilt the frame. You soften the thought. You change the climate. You lie still again. The night is quiet. Your breath is soft, and a feeling begins to rise. You pause. You ask, what climate is this feeling living in? You listen. You understand. You choose. And you begin to wonder, if your thoughts shape your climate, can your body help you feel the change more deeply? What if your breath, your posture, your movement, all help anchor the emotional shift? In the next chapter, we'll explore how the body supports lasting mood change. Chapter 9. The Science of Feeling Good. The summary of this chapter: feeling good is not luck, it's a skill. You explore the neuroscience of mood and thought. This chapter gently introduces serotonin, dopamine, and cognitive habits. You begin to see how your brain responds to kindness. What if joy is a practice, not a mystery? You lie in the quiet. The night wraps around you like a soft blanket. Your breath moves slowly, like ripples across a still lake. And somewhere inside, a question begins to form. Not loud, not urgent, just curious. Why do you feel good sometimes and not others? Why does joy feel fleeting? Why does peace feel rare? Tonight, you begin to explore the science of feeling good, not as a mystery, not as a gift, but as a skill. You begin with a simple truth. Your brain is a garden, and mood is the bloom. Thoughts are seeds. Habits are sunlight. Chemicals are the water. You learn that feeling good is not random. It's biological. It's behavioral. It's learnable. Let's begin with serotonin, a neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger, often called the mood stabilizer. Serotonin helps regulate mood, sleep, appetite, and memory. It's released when you feel safe, when you feel connected, when you feel seen. You boost serotonin through gentle rituals, sunlight on your skin, movement in your body, gratitude in your thoughts. You say, I'm thankful for this breath. I'm grateful for this moment. I'm safe right now. And your brain responds, serotonin flows, mood softens, peace grows. Next, you meet dopamine, the motivator, the spark, the reward chemical. Dopamine is released when you anticipate pleasure, when you complete a task, when you feel progress. You boost dopamine through small wins, making your bed, finishing a chapter, sending a kind message. You say, I did something today. I moved forward. I showed up. And your brain responds. Dopamine flows. Energy rises. Joy flickers. You begin to see your brain as responsive, not passive, not fixed, but alive, adaptable, trainable. You begin to notice your habits, the ones that feed your mood, the ones that drain it. You ask, do I speak kindly to myself? Do I move my body? Do I rest enough? Do I connect with others? Each habit is a signal. Each signal shapes your chemistry. Each chemical shapes your feeling. You begin to create mood rituals, not grand, not forced, just gentle. In the morning, you stretch, you breathe, you say, I'm here. During stress, you pause, you soften, you say, I'm safe. Before sleep, you reflect, you release, you say, I did enough. These rituals become anchors. They guide your brain. They shape your mood. They teach your body to feel good. Let's look at the science again. Your brain has pathways, neural circuits, patterns of thought and emotion. When you repeat a thought, the pathway strengthens. When you repeat a habit, the circuit deepens. Feeling good becomes easier, not because life changes, but because your brain does. You begin to practice cognitive reframing. You notice a harsh thought, I'm failing. You pause. You ask, what else is true? You say, I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm trying. And your brain responds. Serotonin flows. Dopamine rises. Mood softens. You begin to practice gratitude, not as a list, but as a feeling. You say, I'm thankful for this breath, for this quiet, for this chance to begin again. And your brain responds. Neural circuits light up. Mood lifts. Peace returns. You begin to practice connection. You reach out. You listen. You share. You say, I see you. I understand. I'm here. And your brain responds. Oxytocin flows. Safety grows. Joy deepens. You begin to see joy as a practice, not a mystery, not a gift, but a skill. You begin to notice your emotional weather. Some days are cloudy, some are bright, some are stormy. And beneath the weather, you tend the climate. You shape the soil. You guide the growth. You begin to reframe your past, not to erase it, but to understand it. You say, I survived. I adapted. I grew. and your brain responds. Resilience blooms. Hope returns. You begin to reframe your future, not to control it, but to welcome it. You say, I'll try again. I'll learn again. I'll grow again. And your brain responds. Anticipation rises. Dopamine flows. Joy flickers. You lie still again. The night is quiet. Your breath is soft, and a feeling begins to rise. You pause. You ask, what am I practicing? You listen. You understand. You choose. And you begin to wonder, if joy is a skill, can your body help you remember how to feel it? What if your breath, your posture, your movement, all help anchor joy in your nervous system? In the next chapter, we'll explore how the body stores and releases emotion. Chapter 10. The Thought That Heals. The summary of this chapter. Some thoughts are medicine. They soothe, restore, and reconnect you to yourself. Tonight, you learn to choose healing thoughts with intention. This closing chapter invites you to rest in self-compassion. What thought will you carry into your dreams? You lie in the quiet. The night is deep. Your breath moves slowly, like a lullaby written in air. And somewhere inside, a thought begins to rise. Not sharp, not heavy, just gentle. It says, I'm here. It says, I'm enough. It says, I'm allowed to rest. This is a healing thought, a thought that soothes, a thought that restores, a thought that reconnects you to yourself. Tonight, you learn to choose these thoughts with intention, not as a trick, not as a mask, but as medicine. You begin with a simple truth. Your mind is a garden. Thoughts are seeds. Some grow thorns, some grow flowers, and some heal. Healing thoughts are not loud. They don't shout. They don't demand. They arrive softly. They speak in whispers. They wait to be noticed. You begin to notice them. In moments of stillness. In moments of pain. In moments when you pause and ask, what do I need? You feel anxious. You think, I'm not ready. You pause. You ask, what would a healing thought say? It might say, I've prepared enough. Or, I'll learn as I go. Or, I'm allowed to be imperfect. You feel the shift. Your breath deepens. Your chest softens. Your mind begins to trust you. This is the power of healing thought. Let's explore another moment. You feel guilt. You think, I should have done more. You pause. You ask, what would a healing thought say? It might say, I did what I could. Or, I'm learning from this. Or, I'm allowed to forgive myself. You feel the shift. The weight lifts. The night feels lighter. This is the power of healing thought. Healing thoughts are not perfect. They don't erase pain. They don't fix everything. But they offer comfort. They offer clarity. They offer care. You begin to collect them, like stones in your pocket, like stars in your sky, like lullabies for your nervous system. You say, I am safe. I am growing. I am loved. You say, I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to feel. I am allowed to begin again. And your body responds, your breath slows, your muscles soften, your heart opens. Let's look at the science. Your brain responds to thought. Healing thoughts activate calm pathways. They reduce cortisol. They increase serotonin. They regulate your nervous system. Your body listens. Your cells respond. Your sleep deepens. You begin to practice this, not just at night, but during the day, in moments of stress, in moments of doubt, in moments of silence. You pause. You ask, what would a healing thought say? You begin to write them down, in journals, on mirrors, in quiet corners of your day. You begin to speak them aloud, to yourself, to others, to the parts of you that feel forgotten. You begin to believe them, not all at once, but slowly, like sunlight warming a cold room. You begin to notice how healing thoughts shape your relationships. You say, I understand. I forgive. I'm here. You begin to notice how they shape your choices. You say, I'm allowed to try. I'm allowed to rest. I'm allowed to grow. You begin to notice how they shape your identity. You say, I'm not broken. I'm becoming. I'm healing. Healing thoughts become your compass, your anchor, your lullaby. You begin to reframe your past, not to erase it, but to understand it. You say, I did what I could. I survived. I adapted. You begin to reframe your future, not to control it, but to welcome it. You say, I'll learn. I'll grow. I'll show up. You begin to reframe your present, not to perfect it, but to soften it. You say, this moment is enough. This breath is enough. This version of me is enough. You lie still again. The night is quiet. Your breath is soft, and a healing thought begins to rise. It says, you're doing well. It says, you're allowed to rest. It says, you're loved. You carry it with you, into sleep, into dreams, into tomorrow. This is the thought that heals. And as the chapter closes, you begin to wonder, if healing begins with thought, what happens when you carry that thought into your dreams? Thank you for spending this gentle time with me tonight. As you drift toward rest, let your breath carry you. Let your thoughts soften, and let your dreams open like quiet stars above you. If this moment brought you even a little peace, I invite you to stay close. Subscribe to Soft Light Theory and make this calm part of your journey. Each time you return, you'll discover another quiet place to rest, another gentle light to guide you, another reminder that peace is always within reach. This channel is your safe corner in the noise of the world, a soft place to land whenever you need it. So join me, and together we'll keep walking in the glow of this soft light. Until our next meeting, may your night be kind, your heart be light, and your sleep be deep. Good night, dear listener.